What if I told you that a chicken lived for 18 months without a head? No, this isn't some urban legend or internet hoax. This is the absolutely true story of Mike the Headless Chicken, and it's way stranger than you think. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most bizarre and scientifically fascinating stories in American history. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, you're not going to believe this one. It's September 10th, 1945. World War II has just ended, and in the small farming town of Fruita, Colorado, farmer Lloyd Olsen is doing something completely routine, preparing dinner. His mother-in-law is coming over, and she particularly loves chicken neck. Mr. Olsen tried to aim the axe high to leave as much of the neck as possible. He chopped the head off a 5.5-month-old Wyandotte chicken who would soon be named Mike. However, the chicken didn't die. It stumbled around, tried to peck for food, and even attempted to crow, which came out as a gurgle. Lloyd and his wife Clara watch in absolute shock as this headless chicken acts like nothing happened. That night, Lloyd placed the headless rooster in an old apple box on the farm's screen porch. He figured the bird would be dead by morning. But when the sun came up, Mike, yes, they named him Mike, was still alive, still moving, still very much not dead. So how is this even possible? Let me explain the science here because it's actually wild. When Lloyd swung that axe, he missed the jugular vein. Most of the head came off, but he left one ear intact and, critically, most of the brainstem. The brainstem controls all those automatic functions your body does without thinking. Breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, reflexes. Mike essentially became a chicken running on autopilot. But there was a problem. Mike couldn't eat or drink normally. So Lloyd, being the resourceful farmer he was, started feeding Mike with an eyedropper, giving him a mixture of milk, water, and ground-up grain directly into his esophagus. And it worked. Mike started gaining weight. At the time of his beheading, he weighed about 2.5 pounds. 6 weeks later, he was nearly 8 pounds. Word started spreading around town about this miracle chicken. Local newspapers picked up the story, then regional papers. Then it exploded. Mike became a sensation. Lloyd took him to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, where scientists examined him and confirmed, yes, this chicken is legitimately alive without its head. They estimated Mike still had about 80% of his brain, just enough of the brainstem to keep him functioning. Time magazine featured him. Life magazine sent photographers. Mike the Headless Chicken became one of the most famous animals in America. And Lloyd? Lloyd turned Mike into a business. He started touring the country with Mike, charging 25 cents for people to see this biological miracle. At the peak of Mike's fame, Lloyd was making $4,500 a month. In 1945 dollars, that's about $77,000 a month today. This headless chicken was making them wealthy. The tour included stops at sideshows, county fairs, and exhibitions across the country. Mike appeared alongside other carnival attractions, but he was the star. People were fascinated and horrified in equal measure. Some thought it was a hoax. Others were simply amazed that such a thing was possible. Of course, fame attracted imitators. Other farmers tried to replicate Lloyd's success by partially beheading their own chickens. None of them survived more than a day or two. There was something unique about Mike, a perfect storm of anatomy and luck that couldn't be reproduced. Mike's incredible journey lasted 18 months. In March of 1947, Lloyd and Clara were traveling with Mike through Phoenix, Arizona, staying at a motel. In the middle of the night, Mike started choking. A mucus plug had blocked his airway, something that happened occasionally and Lloyd would normally clear with the feeding syringe. But that night, they couldn't find the syringe. They'd left it at the sideshow the day before. By the time they realized this, it was too late. Mike the Headless Chicken, the bird that survived a beheading and became a national celebrity, died from choking. Lloyd later admitted he'd accidentally sold the syringe along with other equipment from the show. A small mistake, but it cost Mike his life. Today, Fruita, Colorado celebrates Mike the Headless Chicken Day every May. There's a festival with games, music, and even a 5K run like a headless chicken race. Mike has become a point of pride for the town, a reminder of one of the strangest stories in American history. Mike's story has been featured in countless documentaries, scientific discussions, and even Ripley's Believe It or Not. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest living headless chicken. But beyond the spectacle, Mike taught us something important about biology. He showed us just how much of what we call life is controlled by the most primitive parts of our brain: consciousness, personality, awareness. Those are gone without the higher brain. But basic survival, that's deeper, more fundamental, and far more resilient than we might think. So there you have it, the absolutely true story of Mike the Headless Chicken, a bird that should have been dinner, but instead became a legend. What do you think? Is this the strangest survival story ever, or do you know something weirder? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the bizarre and unbelievable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.